Japan, a nation defined by its ingenuity and resilience, faces a profound energy paradox. The urgent need for stable, affordable power to fuel its bustling cities and industries is pushing it back towards a controversial source, nuclear energy. Yet, this decision reawakens deep-seated fears, particularly concerning the hazardous legacy that every nuclear plant produces, radioactive waste. The balancing act between economic necessity, climate goals, and public safety casts a long shadow, forcing Japan to confront questions about its energy future that have no easy answers. It's a dilemma shared by many, but uniquely amplified in this island nation. The year 2011 carved an indelible mark on Japan's psyche. The Great East Japan earthquake and subsequent tsunami triggered a catastrophic meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. This event profoundly reshaped global perceptions of nuclear safety and led to the complete shutdown of Japan's entire fleet of reactors. A decade on, the scars remain visible, not only in the contaminated landscapes but also in the public's enduring apprehension. For a nation that experienced the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Fukushima underscored a unique vulnerability to nuclear technology, irrespective of its peaceful intent. For years following Fukushima, Japan relied heavily on imported fossil fuels to meet its energy demands, a costly and environmentally impactful strategy. But the global energy landscape has shifted dramatically, with soaring prices and geopolitical instability highlighting the fragility of supply chains. Facing both an urgent energy crisis and ambitious decarbonization targets, Japan's government has made a difficult but strategic decision: to restart idled nuclear reactors. This policy shift is not without controversy, but proponents argue it is an unavoidable step toward ensuring national energy security and achieving climate goals. Japan is a nation with very few indigenous natural resources. Unlike many industrialized countries, it lacks significant domestic oil, natural gas, or coal reserves. This geological reality has historically driven its need for innovative energy solutions and made it profoundly dependent on global energy markets. Before Fukushima, nuclear power provided a significant buffer against this vulnerability, offering a reliable, domestic, and carbon-free energy source. Reverting to imported fossil fuels proved expensive and exposed Japan to the volatility of international commodity prices, putting immense pressure on its economy and trade balance. Before the Fukushima disaster, nuclear power was a cornerstone of Japan's energy policy. Over 50 reactors provided a substantial portion of the nation's electricity, contributing to a secure and relatively stable power supply. This reliance was seen as crucial for a country with limited fossil fuel resources and a growing economy. The plants were designed to withstand earthquakes, a testament to Japan's seismic activity, but the combination of a massive earthquake and an unprecedented tsunami exposed vulnerabilities that changed everything. The post-Fukushima shutdown left a huge gap in the energy mix. The immediate aftermath of Fukushima saw a dramatic and unprecedented shift. All of Japan's operational nuclear reactors were taken offline, either for safety checks or due to public and political pressure. This created an immense energy vacuum, which was largely filled by ramping up imports of fossil fuels, particularly liquefied natural gas, LNG, and coal. While this ensured a continuous power supply, it came at a significant environmental and economic cost. The nation, once a leader in nuclear technology, found itself at a crossroads, grappling with the tangible consequences of its energy choices. The reliance on imported fossil fuels inflicted a heavy economic toll on Japan. Billions of dollars flowed out of the country annually to pay for oil and gas, contributing to trade deficits and putting pressure on household budgets and industrial competitiveness. Furthermore, global efforts to combat climate change, epitomized by the Paris Agreement, meant that continuing a fossil fuel-heavy energy policy was increasingly untenable. The pressure mounted from both domestic economic realities and international environmental commitments, pushing Japan toward a renewed consideration of its nuclear fleet as a carbon-free alternative. Even as reactors restart, the fundamental challenge of nuclear power remains: what to do with the waste. Spent nuclear fuel, though a small volume, is intensely radioactive and remains hazardous for tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years. This material cannot simply be discarded, it requires careful, secure containment. Understanding nuclear waste isn't just about its radioactivity, it's about its heat generation and its chemical stability. This unseen burden represents an intergenerational responsibility, a problem that demands solutions lasting far beyond human lifespans and political cycles. Nuclear waste is broadly categorized into two main types based on its radioactivity and half-life. Low-level waste, such as contaminated tools, clothing, and reactor components, has a relatively short half-life and poses less immediate danger. It can be disposed of in shallow land burial facilities. However, high-level waste, primarily spent nuclear fuel, is profoundly different. It is extremely radioactive, generates significant heat, and remains dangerous for millennia. This difference dictates radically different storage and disposal strategies, with high-level waste presenting the most formidable and enduring challenge. Currently, most of Japan's high-level nuclear waste, specifically spent fuel rods, is stored in temporary facilities, primarily cooling ponds at the nuclear power plants themselves. These pools were designed for short-term cooling and storage, not for permanent disposal. As more reactors restart and continue operations, these temporary sites are rapidly approaching their capacity limits. While dry cask storage offers a more robust interim solution, it too is not permanent. This reliance on temporary measures creates a looming crisis, necessitating an urgent, long-term solution before space runs out. Globally, the scientific consensus points towards deep geological repositories as the safest, most effective long-term solution for high-level nuclear waste. This involves burying the waste thousands of meters underground in stable geological formations, far away from human activity and the biosphere. The multi-barrier system, comprising the waste form itself, robust canisters, engineered backfill, and the surrounding rock, is designed to contain radioactivity for the immense periods required, preventing it from ever reaching the surface. The search for suitable sites is a painstaking process, requiring extensive geological surveys and societal acceptance. For Japan, finding such a site is particularly challenging. Situated at the convergence of four major tectonic plates, the archipelago is one of the most seismically active regions on Earth, prone to frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Any permanent repository must be able to withstand these powerful natural forces for hundreds of thousands of years. This geological instability makes identifying a truly safe and stable location an incredibly complex task, adding layers of engineering and environmental scrutiny that few other nations face. The margin for error is virtually non-existent. Even if a geologically suitable site were identified, securing public acceptance remains a monumental hurdle. The "not in my backyard" NIMBY phenomenon is strong, driven by deep-seated distrust following Fukushima and concerns about health and safety. Local communities are often reluctant to host a facility that carries such a long-term risk, even with economic incentives. The government and nuclear industry face an uphill battle to rebuild trust, engage in transparent dialogue, and demonstrate unequivocal safety, a challenge that has stalled site selection processes for decades. Without community buy-in, progress is impossible. The true scale of the nuclear waste problem is best understood through the concept of half-life. Radioactive isotopes decay over time, losing their potency, but this process can take an extraordinarily long time. For some isotopes found in high-level waste, like plutonium-239, the half-life is over 24,000 years. This means repositories must remain secure for hundreds of thousands of years, a timeframe that dwarfs human civilization and even geological eras. Designing and building a structure capable of such endurance requires unprecedented foresight and engineering, demanding a commitment across countless future generations. Japan is not alone in its predicament. Nuclear-powered nations worldwide grapple with the same fundamental question of long-term waste disposal. Countries like Finland and Sweden are leading the way with advanced deep geological repository projects, like Onkalo, which are nearing completion after decades of planning and research. Their progress offers valuable lessons and underscores the international nature of this challenge. Collaboration, knowledge sharing, and shared scientific endeavor are crucial as each nation navigates the technical, social, and ethical complexities of ensuring the safe stewardship of nuclear waste for millennia. Beyond geological disposal, research continues into potential innovations that could mitigate the waste problem. Advanced reactor designs, such as small modular reactors, SMRs, or Generation 4 reactors, promise increased efficiency and potentially less waste, or waste that is easier to manage. Fuel recycling technologies aim to reprocess spent fuel, extracting usable components and reducing the volume and radioactivity of the remaining waste. While these technologies hold promise, they are not immediate solutions for the existing waste burden, and their own waste products still require careful management. They represent future possibilities, not present answers. Japan's decision to restart its reactors reflects a stark reality. There are no easy answers in the complex equation of energy, environment, and economy. The imperative to secure energy, reduce carbon emissions, and maintain economic stability pushes towards nuclear power. Yet, the monumental and intergenerational challenge of nuclear waste storage remains, a constant reminder of the long-term consequences. This isn't merely a technical problem, it's a societal one, demanding careful consideration of ethics, equity, and the burden we place on future generations. Striking the right balance requires wisdom, courage, and transparent, long-term planning. As Japan moves forward with its nuclear restart, the journey to a sustainable energy future will be defined by its ability to address the waste storage conundrum with unwavering commitment. This requires sustained investment in research and development, open dialogue with affected communities, and a willingness to learn from international experiences. The legacy of nuclear power, both its immense benefits and its profound challenges, will continue to shape Japan for centuries. The quest for a final, safe resting place for its nuclear waste is not just an engineering project, it's a testament to humanity's capacity for long-term stewardship and foresight.